All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome to the stream. So today we're going to be live mixing a song, a light rock song, singer-songwriter song. This is one that I actually wrote about 8 years ago when I recorded it last year. And I mixed it last year and I wasn't super happy with it, so I figured I would do it again. And we'll use this today as our song that we're going to use. So I have Reaper open here with my template, and I have all the tracks already loaded. All down here we have about 30 tracks. And I'll go through my template real quick with you. So up at the top, I have all my effects returns, my sends and returns. I have them up at the top because when you go to ascend on a track, you get all of your tracks here. And I used to have them at the bottom. I'd have to scroll all the way down to the bottom to get to whatever effect I wanted. So I'm leaving them up at the top now, so I got them easy access. So I have Rewire here. That's for a tuning software I use. You don't need to worry about that. I have 4 reverbs, a room, a hall, a plate, and one I use dedicated for drums. And then I also have 3 delays. On the reverbs, I'm using 7th Heaven, and I have them already preset to the settings that I want. For my room, I like a little bit of pre-delay. They are EQ'd. All my reverbs are EQ'd. So there's the settings there. And then for my delays, I'm using H delay by Waves. I use a lot of Waves plugins. And then continuing on for my template, I have a vocal bus with 2 buses underneath it, a lead vocal and a background vocal. I have my band bus, and then I have acoustic guitar bus and electric guitar bus. We won't be using the electric guitar bus today, so I'll go ahead and delete that. And the track colors, that just helps me on my control surface here be able to identify where they are, so it just helps a little bit. Then I have my drums bus. Then I have a bus for my kick, snare, and toms. Usually the kicks come and kick out. Kick in, snare, snare top, snare bottom, so I like to put them in the buses. Then I have a drum crush bus, that's for parallel compression, and a rear bus, that's also for parallel compression of the whole piece. And effects on these for the template, for the band, I have Curves Equator. I use that when I sidechain my vocals over to this. It'll attenuate the frequencies of the band so that the vocals come through a little bit clearer. On the drums, I have 2 bus compressors, either the Distressor, this one's by IK Multimedia, or the SSL bus compressor, which I use mostly. If it's an aggressive mix, I will use the Distressor. If it's more of a gentle mix like this one, I will use the SSL. And I have this active, and it's already on, so I will be mixing into the bus compressor today. On the kick, the snare, and the toms, I have preloaded in SSL. I like to use these on a lot of tracks. Sounds great. And then on my drum crush, I have an 1176. And then same thing on the rear bus, an 1176 as well. If we have time, I'll show you how I use those later. So if you haven't heard the song yet, I'm going to play you some of it at least. We'll get through a little bit of it, and while that's playing, I'm going to organize my tracks here because I haven't organized them yet. So you can see how I can organize those. So let's go ahead and we'll start playing that, and I'll organize those tracks.
I see my life in broken pieces, shattered hopes and dreams diverted. There's no time to see those projects through. There's no time to see those projects through. have tried to move ahead, but the book of time remains there misread. Indecisions haunted me at night, with visions of a future just inside. In my dreams, I'll see you once again, all dressed up with fiery eyes inside. You haven't changed yourself at all. You haven't changed yourself at all.
All right, I think we get the gist of the song, and that was just until I got these tracks organized. So I'll show you how I did that. You can see mostly how I did it, but I color-coded everything here. Yellows have always been my vocals. There's no rhyme or reason to it, just what I picked and settled on. Blues have been my band, and then reds have been my drums. That's just how I've kept it. And I always separate out my band and my drums because they're processed very differently. Then I'll blend them together later. All right, so we went ahead and we heard the song. So now we're going to go ahead and start mixing. And when I mix, I always start with the drums first. Some people are a top-down engineer. Some people are a bottom-up. I always do from bottom up. I'm a percussionist, so I like to start with the foundation of the groove. So I'll do the drums, I'll get the bass in, and then I'll start filling in all the other instruments to get the band good, and then I'll add the vocals in on top. So let's go ahead and start here with the kick drum, and we'll start processing that. So I'm going to solo my kick bus and start blending in my kick in, kick out. Let's get where the drums come in. And I'm actually going to loop this section here, so we get a nice round that just keeps going, so we can keep processing as we go. Actually, before that, usually the drums are fine because they're low, but I missed a step here. We're going to go through and we're going to gain stage some of these tracks, all these, just to make sure that they're hitting all the plugins correctly. We don't want anything hitting the compressors too hot or any other plugins here. So I have on my master track here, I have a VU meter, and we're looking for the average to be approximately 0 dB on the VU meter.
See my life in broken pieces. Pages of my life have blown away.
So it's fine that it's going over the 0 because you're looking for the average. You want it to be approximately 0. So as long as it's not going crazy too high, that's good. That was good on my end there. So I'm fine with that. Let's move on and check some other vocals here. Usually I have 2 monitors. I have 2 monitors here, but I don't want to put that up on the screen so you can't see it.
Even when the stars have led you another way, stars have led you another way. Changed yourself at all. Do if you could sail again. Do if you could sail again.
A lot of these are fine. I'm okay with these coming in.
Do if you could sail again. Do if you could sail again.
Okay, there's the vocals. Those were all fine. Let's check the bass. Okay, let's go to our finger picking guitars. These are pretty quiet, so they might have to come up. Got a 12-string guitar here. It's a 6-string Martin. Got some strings. Okay. And I'm going to go with the drums as they are. They're not crazy hot, so I think that'll be okay. All right, so now let's go through and we will start mixing in our drums. So we'll start here with the kick. And let's do that loop like I mentioned we're going to do earlier. Do an 8-bar loop here. Okay. And actually before that, I usually go through and I will select all my tracks, just the ones that, not the buses, just the individual tracks, just to give me a little bit more headroom. I'll go through and pull them all down. We gain stage them all so they were good hitting the compressors and all the other plugins we're going to do, but I want to make sure I have enough headroom in the mix, so I'm going to go ahead and take them all down. And that'll give me enough room once I start adding some plugins and processing them that they're not going to overload the master. Okay. Now let's start the kick. All right. I'm going to boost the fundamental, which is down around 80. I'm going to scoop out some of the mids, so I do around the 600 and the 800 and a little bit of a bell. I'm going to push it up in the mid so you can see how boxy it sounds, and I'll take it down. I'll do around 800 here, expand the Q a little bit. You get that really terrible boxy sound, so I'm going to pull that back. Sounds good there. Now we're going to accentuate the attack, which is around 3K. There we go. Had a little bit of a high pass there just to get rid of some of that stuff that we don't need underneath it, around 20. Now I'm going to go ahead and compress it, add a little bit of extra punch. There we go. All right, I'm going to scooch this up a little bit. There we go. I like it hitting around 8 for the kick. A little bit higher is okay. All right, let's take a look at the snare. Let's balance the top and bottom. I like more top than bottom. Get rid of our kick for now. That's good for me. Let's do the SSL strip and we'll process this. I like to boost around the 200 because it's a fundamental there. Add a little bit of air on top. We don't have a lot of bleed here, so we don't have a lot of cymbals, so we can compress this and it's not going to bring up those cymbals. Okay, we'll work with that for now. We'll come back to it. Now we're going to balance it with the kick. Okay, we'll work with that for now. All right, moving on. Hi-hat. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pan that as well. I pan it around 40. I use drummer's perspective for panning all the drums and the toms. Okay. We do have a ride over here, so we're going to loop that, see what we get here. I'm going to pan this about 40% to the right. All right, let's take a look at our toms. Let's find a spot where we get quite a bit of toms in here. There's all three of them right there. There they are. So let's loop that, giving us a little bit of room there. All right. Looks like I already had a channel strip on there. Gonna get rid of that. I'm just gonna process them all at once. Multi-tracks for this. Right now it's unreleased. So possibly. If so, I'll put it in the comments after the stream is done, and then you can practice with it after. But I might wait until after release. I'll do a future stream. Maybe I'll get one off Cambridge. If you're familiar with that, it has a ton of multi-tracks. Maybe I'll do one with there, and then you could do a practice one with that. But if I am going to do this, if I'll leave the multi-tracks, I'll leave it in the comments after the stream is done. Okay, so toms here. I'm going to boost the lows a little bit. Yes, they're going to be different between which tom you're at. I'm just doing a broad stroke here on the toms. Okay. Now we're going to get rid of some of this boxiness here. So let's take a look up here and see if we can find where that boxy tone's coming from. That's not so great, so we're going to take that down. I think we're still going to get some boxiness around the 7-800. Let's test it. Not terrible, but terrible at the same time. Let's take that down a little bit. Okay, and now we're going to get some of the attack. Most toms are around 3K, 2K. Boost some of the attack there. There we go. Let's go ahead and compress. Add some punch. And you can compress toms pretty good. I have an 8:1 ratio here. Pretty good threshold. Trying to get up to around 6 dBs of gain reduction there. Okay. Let's go through and pan these. So we got 3 toms. So I'm using drummer's perspective here. Top tom is going to be to the left, then I'm going to go to the right. So let's do 50. Oh, let's do 40. 40 to the left. We're going to go 40 to the right. And let's do 75 on the right for the floor. Those are all just approximates there. And we can adjust those all later, depending on what it sounds like in the context of the song. Let's boost these up. Balance them with each other. Okay. That's why that was sounding funny. I got the second tom there going to the reverbs, which I'm not ready to add yet. There we go. Sound a little better. We'll add the reverb a little bit later. All right, let's go ahead and do our overheads now. Let's get our loop back a little bit more. So we got more room here. Do here to here. Okay, so I'm going to take down all my overheads. And let me reorder these here. Overhead right above the kit. I've got an overhead, general overhead, and then a room ambience. So let's start with overhead kit. This should get most of our cymbals. Blend in the overhead. So all those overheads there are just adding depth to the kit. Okay. Okay, now let's blend in these crash cymbals here, which I added just because I forgot to do a crash right at the beginning. So I added some, just one crash hit right at the beginning here. Let's move them up so we can hear them. All right, let's go ahead and blend those together. Let's do the overhead kit first. Blend that in with the ambient. Okay, not bad there. And let's see what that's like with the whole kit. Now we've blended everything together, and we'll make some adjustments there. Let's get the whole drums going. Those crashes are way too loud, so I'm going to bring them back down. That's okay there. All right, and I'm just gonna make these crash bus because they all belong together. And to give it some space, I'm gonna actually pan this one. Let's do 40-ish to the right. Too much. Do 20. Okay, so if you have a lot of bleed with instruments here in the drum kit, which we don't here because this is all MIDI. This came from Easy Drummer 3. All the sounds are very isolated, so that's fine. If you have them very isolated, you could put reverb right on each source. So if I wanted a snare reverb, I can go ahead and do that. But let's put this reverb on just the overheads and blend those in and see if that excites the snare a bit with the reverb. So let's do the drum reverb here and see what that sounds like. We'll blend that to taste. Just on the overheads here. See what it sounds like with the kit. Add a little more reverb. I'm going to go ahead and actually add 2 reverbs. Let's also add a plate. We'll adjust the plate on there. Give it a little more. There we go. And those toms, let's listen to those in the kit. Okay, so I'm going to call that good for now for the drums, and that can change later once we get the rest of the band in. So we're going to call the drums done for now. Let's actually check what the bus compressor was doing there. Yeah, that was working fine. Looking for almost 4 decibels of gain reduction there. Let's hear what it sounds like before and after with the bus compressor. This brings the drums a little bit more together, glues them together, a little bit more forward. Okay, so let's blend this now with the bass. Now we're going to get the bass going here. We're going to play that with the drums, so we do it in context. Let's head over to our bass. And here we go. Let's do it from the beginning here. I'm going to start with an EQ here. Yes, this one is free, TDR Nova. Works great for me. I use all paid plugins except for this one. Still works. I'm going to high pass here. Not a lot of great information under 20 hertz, so I'm just going to take that out. And at this point, I am going to isolate just the bass so I can hear this. Usually I'll scoop out some of the mids because it can get really boxy. So let's see, usually around the 5 to 600. I'm going to add some 2K. I'm sorry, 5K here for some definition and presence. And a low pass, not much information is above 10 to 15 going on. Okay, excellent compressor I use on bass guitars, the LA3A. Let's do some compression on this. Okay, and the last thing I do for bass, I'll add a limiter on there, among some other things depending on the song, but this is a pretty light singer-songwriter song. I don't want to process it too much. So I'm going to add a limiter on just to give it a little bit more focus. Don't want to push it too much, just a little bit. Okay. So we got our bass good. Let's blend that in with the drums now. Okay. Okay, that's working for me there. So we got the drums, we got the bass. Let's go ahead and we'll attack the acoustic guitars now. So we have a finger picking, and we have finger picking 1, finger picking 2, but if you just look at them, it's all one performance there. So I'm going to make that a finger picking bus. Put them under it because they're approximately the same thing. All right, let's take a listen to it, and we'll do that in isolation. We have a lot of information there under the 20 hertz there. We have really no need for that, and especially when we're playing it with the bass guitar. When we're playing this with the bass guitar, that's going to get a lot of the lows, so we don't want them to muddy it up. So I'm going to bring the high pass up a decent amount. Lowest frequency on the acoustic guitar is approximately 80 hertz, so I don't want to go past that too much, so it'll take some of the body out. Okay. Now, I don't want to add too much. It already sounds like it has a good high end to it. Just to give it some air, either 10 to 12. I'm using a Pultec EQ here, 10 to 12 kilohertz with a kind of a broad EQ, a broad curve, and maybe just boost the highs just a little bit. Okay, let's add a compressor on here for the acoustics. I also like the LA3A. Don't want to add too much compression. Don't want to take away from the dynamics there. I'm going to send this out to my room reverb, 7th Heaven. Let's see what that sounds like, and we'll blend in to taste the amount of reverb. Now I already have my reverb amount set down here, which is not full. I already have it set at a modest amount, so we can just adjust a little bit to taste. Let's make sure when we gain stage these that the volume is approximately matched here. So I'm going to get rid of my meters and see what they're hitting when they cross each other. Very close. Yep, 19.9, 19.4. I'm okay with that. Okay, I did have a little pop there. Let's see if we can get rid of that. Add a little fade there, a little fade out there. See if that helps the pop at all. Pop's gone. Great. We're not going to have one here because it hangs and comes back in. Might have a pop here. Let's check that. No, it's just a sudden punch in, but there's no pop, so that's okay. And here we're going to be fine, I think, as well. Yep, that all sounds good. All right, that's good. Now let's check out these rhythm guitars. Got the 12-string, which is played on a Seagull, and then we got a 6-string Martin. Let's start with the 6-string. And let's see what that sounds like here. Got a little more clarity by scooping out the mids a little bit there. You don't want to take out too much, though, because the mids really help out acoustic guitars. That sounds like it's got quite a bit of high in there, so I'm not going to add a ton of high there unless we see it later. In the mix, if we see it in the mix later and we need some high end, we'll boost it. How do you like the fader port? Yeah, I love the fader port. I got it a little while ago. Workflow's nice on it. I'm not sure if you're using Reaper. It did take a little bit to get set up in Reaper because it's not native with Reaper. It's great with Studio One, Ableton, Pro Tools, Logic. It hooks up great in those. But with Reaper, it took a lot to get it to work. But now that I know how to do it, it's very easy to get set up. So if you need help with that, just let me know. Be happy to help. All right, so we got the Martin good, and let's add some reverb to that as well. Onto the 12-string. All right, we're going to do approximately the same thing. I'm going to high pass this out. Okay, that's good. Sounds very bright, so I'm not going to add any high end to that. That sounded like it was missing some mid, so I gave some of that back there, and I'm going to go to a room reverb as well. Let's go ahead and compress these just a tiny little bit. Acoustic guitars are like the 3As. So I don't want to take away a ton of dynamics here, so I am just going to just do a touch of reduction here. Okay, those sound good to me. Check the acoustic here with the 12-string. Yep. Compression's okay there. And now we have two rhythm guitars. We're not going to keep them center. We're going to pan those. And rhythm acoustics, I like to pan wide. My Martins, I'm going to go to the left. 12-string, I'm going to go to the right. Let's see what that sounds like now. It should sound much wider. Yeah, I think that sounds great with the panning, the processing, and the reverb there. Sounds good. Musictron, you're welcome. Yeah, using Studio One now, trying to get into Reaper. Reaper's great. I've always used Reaper, proud Reaper user. Will always use Reaper. I think it is the best DAW. All right, so now let's blend these, which is the most of the band. We only have some strings left. We'll add in some of that later. But let's go ahead and blend in the guitars and the bass with the drums. All right, so we're going to solo our drums here. And let's solo our band. And the only thing I'm going to do is mute the strings because we have not done those yet. And let's get rid of our solos on the guitars here. Now everything opens up. And solo our bass. And let's build it up again. This should be good because we've already balanced them. Now I'm going to start adding in my guitars to see how those sound and blend together. We'll start with the finger picking. Let's add in the rhythm. And while we're balancing this, the rhythms, might as well make them a bus too because they work together. Okay. All right, that's sounding okay now. Again, once we get the vocals in, we'll start balancing and tweaking everything to sound good in context. So let's go ahead and we'll work on our strings now. Let's see, strings, no more mute. I want to solo these. All right, so let's get where the strings are playing the most. We'll just go one by one. So we'll do our lead here. I don't know why I called it lead. Oh, that's right, because it plays the lead line. Okay, cool. So let's balance these. I'm not going to process these a lot. These are all VST strings. They come pretty processed, so I'm just going to blend them in. That sounds good for during the verse. Let's check out the chorus. Let's check out our second lead that's coming in, make sure that's still sounding okay. Works for me, going back into the chorus and bridge strings. Blends okay. We only have one more. Only have one more here, which is at the end. Let's get that blended okay. Got our ending here. Just a little touch at the end. Okay. Do you want to sync the TCP and MCP folders tracks to open and close at the same time? I do not. My workflow, I just don't I don't need it a ton, so that's okay for me. With the fader port and the Reaper, though, when you do switch banks, it does switch the MCP at the bottom. So right now I'm back at the beginning. I have tracks 1 through 16. It moved it already for me. I see 1 through 20 here, but it's 1 through 16. If I move over the next bank, I have 17 through 32 on my fader port, so it starts at 17 and goes to 36, but I got all of them visually there in front of me. If I switch the channels over just 1 or 2, it'll switch the tracks down there at the bottom. So that's how you line it up. Works for me. Okay, so we got our band set. Let's do some last minute tweaks here now that we got everything in context. So all I'm going to do here now is mute the vocals, because that's the only thing that we have not mixed yet. Everything else should still be open. All right, muted the vocals. All right, so let's get into the middle somewhere here, and we'll see how everything sounds together and make some adjustments. I'm going to add a little reverb on that snare. Okay, I didn't want too much there. Just added a touch of the reverb. All right, let's get those toms here that came in. I think those were a little low. All right, so let's boost up those toms. Let's get all 3 of them over here. Okay, so I don't know if I want to use it or not, but I want to try it. I have a drum crush bus here for parallel compression, and I only have my kick, my snare, and my toms feeding into the drum crush. So that's just going to add a little bit more punch to those instruments of the drum kit. And let's just blend it in and see what happens with it. For drum crush, parallel compression, I have an 1176 on, fastest attack, fastest release, 20 ratio. You could go all in if you want. And then I adjust it so that I'm getting a crazy amount of gain reduction, 10 to 20. Okay, now I haven't blended it in yet. You only saw it there on the meter. So let's go ahead and blend in that drum crush. Actually, let's just hear what it sounds like with the drum crush just by itself. I'll just solo that so you can hear what that sounds like. Solo the wrong one. Let's solo the right one. Very compressed. So let's feed that into the whole drum kit now. So I'll just solo the drum kit, and let's see what that sounds like as I add it in. Definitely brings those out and makes them more punchy. So let's do that in the context of the mix. Okay, so a little bit of parallel compression there didn't hurt anybody. All right, great. Let's listen to those acoustic guitars, see how those are sounding in the mix. Okay, that works for me, so I'm going to leave that as is. So let's go on to the vocals. All right. Okay, so I'm soloing my vocals. Let's start with the lead vocal and start with, I think this is verse 2 here.
See my life in broken pieces, a string of time completely wasted.
Okay, so these vocals, they're already tuned. That's the only thing they came with. There's no other processing on these. So first thing I'm going to do, and actually all the vocals are the same vocalist. It's all one. So I'm going to do a broad EQ here to do a high pass on all the vocals.
See my life in broken pieces, a string of time completely wasted. The pages of my life have blown away.
Sometimes you get a resonant frequency between like 180, 220.
Suspended in the air of yesterday.
Sometimes just taking away a decibel or two can clear that up and make it a little bit more, give some clarity to it.
A string of time completely wasted. The pages of my life have blown away. Suspended in the air of yesterday.
Okay, for EQ, I'm going to call that okay there. Again, we'll check it in context of the mix. All right, next, let's add a de-esser. So I heard some extra S's and ch sounds that are popping out, so let's get rid of some of that. I check first between 4 and 6K, and I can expand from there. I'm using the IK Multimedia TR5 de-esser here. C, sticking out quite a bit. So one way you can do that, really annoying, but works, just loop that one little spot.
I see.
You can even see it there, it sticks up a little bit. That was terribly annoying. Sorry if you just joined. Okay, so now let's hear what that sounds like by itself. Yeah, that sounds better.
I see my life in broken pieces.
Took the edge off a little bit. All right, compression here. It's pretty even all the way through, so I'm not going to compress it a ton. LA2A, standard go-to vocal compressor. I'm going to use that.
I see my life in broken pieces, a string of time completely wasted. The pages of my life have blown away. suspended in the air of yesterday.
Okay, I like that amount of compression there. And let's go ahead, we'll add some reverb to this. I'm gonna use a plate reverb here. See how that sounds.
I see my life in broken pieces.
All right, let's do that in context of the piece. Let's solo the band, solo the drums. We'll blend that in.
I see my life in broken pieces. A string of time completely wasted. The pages of my life have blown away, suspended in the air of yesterday.
Okay, I'm happy with that lead vocal as it is. It sounds pretty good. Let's actually do one more. I'm going to add some air on top of it. So I'm going to add the Pultec, and let's go with about 12K broad curve here. Let's hear what that sounds like by itself.
I see my life in broken.
By itself.
I see my life in broken pieces. A string of time completely wasted. The pages of my life have blown away, suspended in the air of yesterday.
We haven't got to harmonies yet, so hold on. Okay, so I'm going to move this harmony up. We are onto the harmonies now, though I'm happy with that vocal lead for now. So, for the harmonies, I'm going to compress them the same way. So all I need to do here on my lead vocal, I have my LA2A. I'm just going to transfer that over to these other harmonies here. And let's test the compression there.
The pages of my life have blown away. Indecisions haunted me at night.
Okay, that works for me. All right, let's go on to the next harmony. Only one little guy over here. See how that works with the compressor.
Even when the stars have led you another way.
I like the lower amount of compression to keep the dynamics, especially on a singer-songwriter song like this. Between 2 and 4, maybe 5 decibels of gain reduction if it's really pushing it. Don't need to slam it. All right, next. What concerns me here is we have a huge waveform here, and then it gets quieter throughout, so I might clip gain that down. Let's check and see what happens.
Change yourself at all.
Yeah, so that was pushing 7, 8, 9 decibels of gain reduction.
What would you do if you could sail again?
And then the rest of them were hitting fine. So let's take this down a little bit. Make it match the others. Let's see what happens there with the compressor.
Change yourself at all. Fail or stay the course.
Okay, I'm okay with that. And let's check our last harmony here.
Fail or stay the course. It seems that you only know how to ride the storm. Even when the stars have led you another way.
All right, those are all good. Now let's go ahead and add some reverb to, actually let's blend them first and then we'll add the reverb. So let's start, they don't all happen at exactly the same time, so let's just do these 3 first. Let's bring these 2 up because that's where they normally happen together, and then we got this one lonely guy down there. So let's start with V-harm. I don't remember why I named them these. I'm going to take all the other harmonies down, and we're going to blend this with the first one.
yourself.
And for blending harmonies, I am going to only solo the vocals here.
And change yourself. And change yourself at all. And change yourself at all. What would you do if you could sail again? Would you turn the wheel or stay the course? It seems that you only know how to ride the storm. Even when the stars have led you another way. And change yourself at all. What would you do if you could sail again? What would you do?
Oh, I hit one of the random keys on my keyboard. That's why it's not... I took the volume all the way down. My bad. Let's bring that back up. We'll readjust it as needed. Okay.
What would you do if you could sail again?
All right, now let's blend that together.
What would you do if you could sail again? Would you turn the wheel or stay the course?
Blend it with the other.
It seems that you only know how to ride the storm. Even when the stars have led you another way.
Great. All right.
And in my dreams,
Let's balance V harm 4, vocal harmony 4 here.
You haven't changed yourself at all.
I did the same. It was because they were both selected. That's why. Hey. Okay. Close enough.
You haven't changed yourself at all.
Okay, so that was our low harmony there.
You haven't changed yourself at all.
Don't want that too overpowering.
What would you do if you could sail again? Would you turn the wheel or stay the course? It seems that you only know how to ride the storm. Even when the stars have led you another way.
All right, and then we had our high harmony coming in right there, so let's balance that.
Even when the stars have led you another way.
All right, cool. All right, now let's balance this. And that was just the bridge, looks like. A lot of harmonies there on the bridge. But let's go ahead and we'll balance that with the band, see how the background harmonies work. And I'm going to just adjust the bus now if the background harmonies need to be higher or lower. Let's get into it.
Dressed up with fiery eyes inside. You haven't changed yourself at all. You haven't changed yourself at all. What would you do if you could sail again? Would you turn the wheel or stay the course? It seems that you only know how to ride the storm. Even when the stars have led you another way. And in my dreams, I'll see you once again. All dressed up with fiery eyes inside.
Just adjusting the track 14 V harm now. Got a little buried.
You haven't changed yourself at all.
Okay, that was good. Now, for clarity, I'm going to use Curves Equator here. And what this will do is I'm going to sidechain my vocals to the Curves Equator here, which is on the band bus, which has the bass, finger picking, all the acoustic guitars, and the strings, which masks some of the frequencies from the vocals. So I'm going to sidechain my vocals. Is it already there? No, it's not. I'm going to sidechain my vocals down to the band bus. Make sure it's sidechained on 3 and 4. And then when I play, I'll click sidechain here. When I listen, I should just hear the vocals. Let's see.
You haven't changed yourself at all.
You heard the drums too, because the drums were not part of the band. I don't want to attenuate anything in the drums. It's just the bands, which have a lot of the competing frequencies with the vocals. So now I'm going to put a rider on, so it will only attenuate the band frequencies when the vocals are singing and bring them back when they're not. And when I add this on, you should hear that the vocals get a little bit more clear. Let's try.
You haven't changed yourself at all. What would you do if you could sail again? Would you turn the wheel or stay the course?
So it analyzed it and found that the competing frequencies were in this range here, a lot of it in the 300 to 400, 500 range here. Typical main body of vocals. So by adding this on and dragging the threshold down, it attenuated those frequencies in the band that were competing with the vocals and made them more clear. So now that that's happening, let's go back and adjust the vocals, all the vocals, as one big bus, and make sure that it's not too loud, because as it gets as the band attenuates its frequencies to make room for the vocals, it's going to sound louder.
You haven't changed yourself at all. What would you do if you could sail again? Would you turn the wheel or stay the course?
I'll lower the background vocals a little bit.
It seems that you only know how to ride the storm, even when the stars have led you another way.
All right, I'm happy with that. Vocals are sounding pretty good there. All right, so we have processed the whole band. Only thing we missed here, adding the reverb onto the backgrounds.
Change yourself.
It'll sound a lot better once we add some reverb. So I'm going to add a plate here.
Change yourself at all. Change yourself at all. You haven't changed yourself at all. What would you do if you could sail again? Would you turn the wheel or...
Okay, I like that lush reverb. Now let's check, before we go through into the whole band, last minute things, let's check panning on this. I want to double check what levels of harmonies we have.
Change yourself. Change yourself at all. Change yourself at all.
Okay, so the low harmony here, V harm 4, I'm going to leave that center. I'm going to go ahead and just pan these a little bit, just for some interest here. So this one, let's do 25 to the right, 3, 25 to the left-ish. See what that sounds like.
Change yourself at all.
just a little more wide. I like that. And we'll keep, I think this one's the really high harmony down here.
Even when the stars have led you another way.
Pretty high. We're going to keep that centered as well.
Even when the stars have led you another way.
Sounds good to me. Let's hear what that sounds like in context with the mix.
Haven't changed yourself at all. What would you do if you could sail again?
Yeah, there we go. So just a little more wide with those background harmonies. Okay, last thing I want to do here, we have a rear bus parallel compression over here. Same thing I did with the drum crush bus. I got an 1176 on here, all buttons in, and I'm sending almost all of my mix to this rear bus. So it's going to be a really highly compressed version of the entire mix. And when you layer that in, it can get just a little bit more excitement with the whole mix. So let's blend in. Let's actually listen to what that sounds like by itself first. Make sure the compressor's hitting everything okay. Is everything sent to there? Everything is sent to there. Okay.
What would you do if you could sail again? Would you turn the wheel or stay the course? It seems that you...
Sounds terrible by itself, but let's blend this in and see if it can create a little bit more of some excitement with the whole piece.
Haven't changed yourself at all. What would you do if you could sail again? Would you turn the wheel or stay the course? It seems that you only know how to ride the storm.
I think that's the sweet spot there, so I'm going to mute it back and forth so you can see what it sounds like before or with it on and with it off. Engage and disengage with the rear bus. So I'm starting with it. Let's start disengage, so it's bypassed here, no rear bus, and then I'll add it in.
Haven't changed yourself at all. What would you do if you could sail again? Would you turn the wheel or stay the course?
It's very subtle, but I think it helps the piece a little bit. All right, cool. So we went through, we did the whole mix. I'm going to play from the beginning to the end, and the only thing I'm going to do here is just do some last minute adjustments that I might hear as the piece as whole is playing. And then we're going to call it a day. We're not going to master this today. This is just a mix. So mastering, that's another time. That's something else. But for those that joined in, thank you very much. Likes, subscribes, comments, all welcome. Thanks for joining. And I will see you on the next live mix.
I see my life in broken pieces, shattered hopes and dreams diverted. There's no time to see those projects through. There's no time to see those projects through. I see in broken
I'm gonna bump up those hi-hats a little bit.
a string of time completely wasted. The pages of my life have blown away, suspended in the air of yesterday. And in my dreams, I'll see you once.
I'm gonna take down those toms a bit. They were a little loud. Just a touch.
With fiery eyes inside, you haven't changed yourself at all. You haven't changed.
Strings are a tad loud as well.
yourself at all. All these years I tried to move ahead, but the book of time remains there misread.
I'm going to pay attention to that ride next time it comes in because I didn't really hear that coming out in the chorus.
Decisions haunted me at night, with visions of a future just inside. And in my dreams, I'll see you once again,
It's there. I could bring it out a little more.
all dressed up with fiery eyes inside. You haven't changed yourself at all. You haven't changed yourself at all. What would you do if you could sail again? Would you turn the wheel or stay the course?
I'm bringing the overheads up a little bit on the drums. Those crashes are getting lost a little bit.
That you only know how to ride the storm. Even when the stars have led you another way. And in my dreams, I'll see you once again, all dressed up with fiery eyes inside. You haven't changed yourself at all. You haven't changed yourself at all.
All right. I'm happy with that mix so far. I'd probably let it rest, come back and listen to it again maybe tomorrow and make any changes that are needed. But thanks for all that joined us. Appreciate it. Like, subscribe, comment if this was helpful at all to you today. And I'll catch you next time on the next stream. Thanks. See you later. Bye.